Welcome to the A Sound Effect podcast. My name is Asbjørn Andersen, and I'm the founder of asoundeffect.com. I just wanted to highlight some of the great new sound-related stories that the community has been sharing over the past few weeks. And in this episode, you'll hear about great new podcasts from the Audio Podcast Alliance. You'll hear about some of the blog stories that we run on asoundeffect.com. And you'll get to hear some really interesting sound effect libraries from the independent sound community. Before we begin, if you're in the market for some incredible deals on sound effects, plugins, and instruments, be sure to check out the huge sale that we've just kicked off at asoundeffect.com/sale. Now, in the world of podcasts, here's what's new from the Audio Podcast Alliance. You can find all these episodes and more at audiopodcast.org. At the 20,000 Hertz podcast, the team gives you the story behind the making of HBO's iconic sounds, from the sweeping theme song of the 80s to the signature 5-second audio logo that followed in the 90s. Over at the Dolby Institute podcast, Glenn Kaiser speaks with No Time to Die supervising sound editor Oliver Tarney and re-recording mixers Paul Massey and Mark Taylor. And if you want to hear more about the sound of that movie, you can also hop on over to asoundeffect.com/bond. The Tone Benders podcast brings you Tim Nelson's handheld recorder shootout, featuring an impressive 11 units, as well as lots of gear talk, and it's with Tim Nelson, Christina Morse, and Mark Kilborn. Over at our very own A Sound Fit podcast, Jennifer Walden spoke with supervising sound editors and sound designers Mark Mangini and Theo Green about the astonishing sound of Dune. And if you want to learn more about the sound of Dune, you can hop on over to asoundeffect.com/Dune. At the Sound Business podcast, host Akash Takar speaks with producer, songwriter, and vocalist Luna Shadows about building an online presence, going indie, and the truth about talent. The Amps podcast gives you the story behind feature film Censor with Tim Harrison, Adele Fletcher, and Michelle Woods. And finally, the Sound Girls podcast speaks with game composer Belinda Coombs, who's worked on titles such as Command & Conquer, Tiberian Sun Rising, and Ring of Pain. You can find all these episodes and more at audiopodcast.org. In Independent Sound Effects, here's Christian Halskjær's highlight of some of the interesting new releases.
Raw Horses by Surround Sound Lab is a diverse, multi-mic'd collection of horse sounds. Aquatic Fields by Outer Fields features various recordings of water, including underwater, mono, stereo, and binaural ambient sounds. Gamelan Textures from Wow Sound comes with 6 gamelan instruments and 1 harp, with sound textures and single sounds made with different mallets and playing techniques. Aztec Death Whistle by Effects Works gives you the terrifying tones of this ancient instrument with both dry and designed sounds.
We've also run quite a few new stories on the Sound Effect blog. You can find them all at asoundeffect.com/blog. The most recent one is actually, it's a video by Greg Lester, and it's an excellent game audio implementation primer that gives you the fundamentals on how sound gets into games these days. In the Composer Success series, we also spoke with the legendary composer Peter McConnell, who's worked on classic LucasArts adventure titles like Monkey Island, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars, as well as Grim Fandango and Full Throttle. And in this interview, he shares his insights on what it takes to get started and succeed as a game composer. And for those of you looking to break into game audio, Megan Fraser has published a great guide on how to do exactly that. And we've also added in around 40 resources for making it in sound to help you along the way. That's it for this community recap. We're busy working on our next episode, which will feature the extremely talented field recordist Thomas Rex Beverly, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening and take care.